Breaking news from Capitol Hill overnight. A joint session of Congress formally declared President-elect Joe Biden's presidential win after pro-Trump supporters stormed Capitol Hill. Now, CBS News reports some of President Trump's own cabinet members had been whispering about whether to move forward with formal proceedings to remove him from office just days before his term ends. The Maryland Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger calls on lawmakers to invoke 25th Amendment, saying on Twitter, "I don't say this lightly. The Vice President and our cabinet secretaries should invoke the 25th Amendment." President Trump incited a violent riot today that cost a woman her life. He's a threat to our national security and a menace to democracy. Natalie Brand has the latest for WJZ.
Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes.
In the early hours of Thursday morning, the joint session of Congress affirmed President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris's Electoral College win after defeating objections to Arizona and Pennsylvania's votes.
The noes have it.
It came hours after Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol building, some making it as far as Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office. Others reached the Senate floor. Capitol Police drew their guns as people tried to enter the House. 4 people died during the chaos, 3 from medical emergencies. 1 woman was shot and killed. Members of the House and Senate had been evacuated from their chambers.
This is Banana Republic crap.
Wisconsin GOP Congressman Mike Gallagher sheltered in place in his office.
Mr. President, you have got to stop this.
Earlier Wednesday, President Trump continued his attacks on the 2020 election.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
Mr. Trump's Twitter account was later locked after posting this video message to his supporters.
So go home. We love you. You're very special.
The violence began shortly after some Republicans raised their first objection, an effort to show support for President Trump, even if it didn't have the votes to succeed.
And it gives credibility to a dark chapter of our history.
Early this morning, the White House released a statement from President Trump saying though he disagrees with the outcome of the election, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Okay, those tensions were high on Capitol Hill after the session resumed overnight. Maryland Congressman Andy Harris had words with Democrat Colin Allred from Texas, and witnesses say it almost got physical. You can hear the scuffle and angry voices in the background here.
The fact is that the people have made this country work by not giving in. Go ahead, shout it out.
The gentleman is not in order. The gentleman will proceed. The gentleman will proceed.
You heard Nancy Pelosi's voice right there. Many Maryland leaders are outraged by the mayhem on Capitol Hill. Our team coverage continues with Annie Rose Ramos. She's live with the reaction. Good morning, Annie Rose.
That's right, Max. Good morning. Both local and congressional leaders said Wednesday was a sad day for our nation, saying the violence weren't acts of protest, but acts of chaos.
Shocking scenes of chaos inside the nation's capital as protesters breached security and violently stormed the Capitol building. Lawmakers took shelter inside. State Senator Chris Van Hollen says he was safely evacuated from the building, locked down in his office.
What's going on is an outrageous assault on our democracy, on our Capitol. And it is sadly fueled by a president who refuses to accept the results of a democratic election.
Inside his office on Capitol grounds, Maryland Congressman John Sarbanes condemned the violence.
It was sad to see that happen. I don't think we've ever encountered something as challenging as this.
As protesters clashed with police, Maryland Congressman David Trone tweeted this photo with what appeared to be a gas mask over his head. And Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger tells WJZ he watched in shock as rioters invaded the House and Senate chambers and vandalized offices of congressional leaders.
This is a really sad day for our country. I just can't believe this is happening in the United States of America. You know, we're the strongest country in the world, and we're embarrassing ourselves.
Governor Larry Hogan mobilized 200 state troopers and 500 members of the Maryland National Guard to D.C. to help regain control.
This is a heinous and violent assault on the heart of our democracy. They're threatening the lives of members of Congress and the Vice President for upholding the Constitution.
Howard County Executive Calvin Ball says Wednesday's riots show a strong divide in our country.
any person who loves America, this is a disgusting day for democracy.
In Baltimore, Mayor Brandon Scott offered support to D.C.'s mayor.
You cannot storm the U.S. Capitol that way. There's supposed to be a peaceful transition. We have elections for a reason.
And Max, several of Maryland's police agencies, including right here in Baltimore City, say they have officers on standby, ready to be deployed to D.C. if needed. Reporting live, I'm Annie Rose Ramos for WJZ.
Annie Rose, thank you. And due to the curfew, D.C.'s metro and bus system closed last night. Metro trains stopped running at 8 p.m. and buses stopped running at 9. There's no word on when operations will start back up or if the shutdown will impact this morning's service. The Metro says it will give customers updates as necessary. During the unrest in D.C., authorities found what they believe were 2 explosive devices in the area. Officials say the 2 pipe bombs have been rendered safe. One was found at the Republican National Committee's headquarters. The other was discovered in the U.S. Capitol complex. Officials also responded to reports of a suspicious package near the Democratic National Committee's headquarters. Of course, we'll stay on top of the crisis at the Capitol. Get the latest here on WJZ and anytime on WJZ.com.